Hello there, Geminis. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly in-depth tarot forecast. I am going to be breaking this month down into 4 different segments so that we have more information. I don't think just the themes for all of 30 days is probably enough. I would like to look at kind of the flow of the energy as we go through the month. I think that is probably going to be more helpful for most of you. I'm hoping it is because I'm putting in a lot of time, energy, and effort on these videos. So anyway, let me put down some cards for you, Geminis. What we're covering right now is September the 1st through the 8th with this first spread. La da da, la da da, la da 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 da. La da da, la da da, la da 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 da. All right, so Geminis. The first thing that we're going to start with for September the 1st through 8th is going to be your environment. Now, your environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. So usually home, but it doesn't have to be home. I want you to keep sort of an open mind as you're hearing about your environment so that you can see where it actually is. So it does look like you've got an interesting situation going on in your environment because it seems like it's very secure, it's very stable, but you're not very happy there and you're not feeling very satisfied there. And I think that you are kind of daydreaming about options right now, about ways that you could hopefully keep the stability that you have going on and still find ways to bring satisfaction into the situation or bring happiness into your environment situation. Okay? La da 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 da. Next, let's look at your subconscious leanings. Is that right? That's not right. One of your other cards wanted to sneak into subconscious leanings. We don't want no sneaky cards. There. Get that organized. All right, subconscious leanings for September 1st through the 8th, Gemini. Looks like you have, this is interesting. Looks to me like you're thinking about a couple of people subconsciously, and I think that what we're looking at is 2 people probably going to be opposite genders, so we're saying a man and a woman. And so for the more likely to be male figure, we're seeing somebody who is very passionate, very spicy. There's somebody who likes to talk to a lot of people, maybe very flirtatious, definitely outgoing. Somebody who likes to do new things and likes to have adventures, likes to travel. And then the female version of the person that you're thinking of is somebody who likes to look at things very much more logically. She likes to think things through. She's somebody who is interested in what is the truth about a situation, and finding out those types of things, and operating in a very fair way is very important to her. And it looks to me like you've got these 2 people on your mind, and there's something going on about these 2 people that has you sort of in pity party mode, where you're feeling like there's something going on that isn't fair to you with the situation. So I'm not sure if this is 2 people at work that have been leaving you out of projects, if this is some kind of third party situation where you've been left behind, if this is a situation maybe with your parents that you are not feeling really good about. But there's something going on having to do with a couple. They're not a perfectly matched couple, but they very easily could be a romantic couple, but they don't have to be. I think we'll find out more as we go through this spread, because usually things that are going on in the subconscious have a way of sort of showing up in different ways as we go through the spread as well. But there's definitely something here about two people that your subconscious is gnawing on, and you're not feeling really good about these particular two people. Could one of these two people be you? Possibly. Could be possibly one of these two people would be you. And you may be worried about how come you guys aren't getting along very well, or there's just something where you feel like you're not getting enough attention from the other person. That could be happening too, but it feels to me, my first impression really was that this is about a couple of people that you have on your mind that you're not feeling very good about something going on with them and how it affects you. All right, let's see what other kind of clues we get here. This is already starting out to be an interesting read, Geminis. La da da da. Next, we're looking at learning style and also at communication style. You are picking up a lot of new information. I do think that this is information that is beneficial to you. I think you're also very curious about it as well. And I think you're picking up information very quickly. I mean, Geminis, you have that reputation of being sharp and quick-witted. That's definitely showing up here in this learning style as I'm seeing it, just how quickly you're picking up. And the quantity of information you're picking up is pretty amazing. And a lot of this information is new information for you. I'd say a good third of it. Let's look at your communication style for this time frame. There are some people in your sphere of influence that I think you're holding back a lot on your communication with them. You're just basically giving them what they need to know and maybe a little innuendo here and there. And that's about it. There are other people that you're communicating with quite a bit, and I think you may be communicating with them about things that have to do with money or abundance or prosperity in some way. And then you have other people that you're communicating with that you're just having fun with communicating with them. You can let loose and just talk about whatever you want with them. All right, so that's communication style for this time frame. Let's look next at work. If you guys remember, I am weird about work because I see it as two different things. I see it as how we make a living or feel productive in the community, and then I also see it as those things that we do to improve our own inner character for our own happiness sake. So, la da 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 da. You're definitely not liking work. There's something going on here that really has you sad or upset, and I feel like you just don't feel inspired about anything that's happening there. There's nothing that you feel like, oh, wow, I can't wait to work on this project. I think you may actually be feeling a little bit depressed by the work that you do or by situations that are going on around you with the workplace. And it seems like whatever's happening, things are stagnating in this situation, and that may be why you're unhappy and you're not feeling like you're inspired about anything, is because it's the same thing day in and day out. It's always the same. Okay? Da 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 da. I don't see you making any moves to change anything, though. All right, next let's look at inner work. There is some kind of heartache or sadness that you're dealing with as far as inner work, and you may actually be struggling with depression on a bigger scale than just about what's going on at work, or it may be impacting you more than at work. And so your inner work is about recognizing that this is going on and recognizing that this is becoming a problem and working on ways to help yourself feel better, basically, is what your inner work is all about. Alrighty. Let's look at, and I'm not going to go into all the ways you can make yourself feel better if you are dealing with depression, just because there's all kinds of resources about that online. There's foods, there's exercise, there's getting the proper amount of sleep. I just said I wasn't going to go into that, and that here I am. Here I am, going into it. All right. La da da da. Next thing that we're looking at here talks to me about that part of your personality where you're growing or expanding right now. There is a lot of communication coming in from somebody who is younger than you. And I do mean a lot. It feels to me like you're being barraged with communication from this person. And they want to, I feel like they want to get something going with you, whether this is a business idea, an investment idea, a work project, maybe it's even a romantic relationship or a friendship. But there's something that they are trying to get going with you. And I feel like the way this is showing up, it's something that you and this person talked about before. Maybe you even dipped your toes in with this person on whatever this is before. But you have absolutely no interest of doing that again. While they're barraging you with information and communication, they can talk to their blue in their face. You're just not interested. Okay? That's where you're growing or expanding right now. Being able to stand up for yourself and just say, you know what, sorry, that just isn't for me. All right, what do you stand for right now? You are getting over some kind of sadness from the past. You're coming to peace with some things. When I see this card, in this context, it basically means that there are some things that you're coming into acceptance about that, you know, you probably didn't want to come into acceptance about, but there are some things you're coming to an acceptance about. And I think you're really coming into a quiet time of sort of processing this whole situation as you accept it. Okay? And somebody has said something to you here, probably asking you why you've gotten so quiet all of a sudden. And, you know, you've had to defend yourself for being quiet. You know, like, well, I've got something that is really deep that I'm working on here. I'm processing this stuff. This is sadness. This is deep sadness, or this is grief. This could be, this could even be where somebody has passed away and it was really hard for you to accept the idea that you're just not going to see them in the flesh again for a while, and now you're coming to accept that. Or it could be something, you know, the loss of a friendship or the loss of a job or something like that, that you're just, maybe you had some kind of hopes of regaining that, and now you're just coming to this point of acceptance of, okay, that's done. I need to focus on some other things now. And I think that this is something that you're internalizing a lot because you are being quiet. This is not something that you're just talking about all over the place. You're just emotionally working with this. I'm getting this vision of like somebody who's like kneading the dough. It's like you're just kneading the dough of this whole situation in your mind and just, you know, working out all of those air bubbles, working out all of that energy. All right, next thing that we're looking at talks to me about how other people perceive you. Geminis, they see you as being incredibly honest, maybe even uncomfortably honest. And they see you as moving on, making progress, definitely. Making some really good progress. And they see you as really getting in touch with your higher power or the divine as you do this. Really coming into your own spiritual well-being as you work through this process of getting past whatever grief or sadness that was, moving through that into the next phase of your life. All right, next we're going to look at the flex point during this time frame. So this flex point is going to be where things start to change for you a little bit. Ooh, I like it, I like it. What's going on here? This is interesting. So Gemini, I think you're coming into a time frame where you're starting to manifest some of the things that you want. They're coming into your life. Some of those things that you've been thinking about and wanting for a while are starting to show up in your life. There's somebody who is close to you in your sphere of influences who is having a hard time manifesting what they want in their life. In fact, they may even be manifesting exactly the opposite of what they want in their life right now. And what I see here is they are going to have an explosive release of emotions about the difference between them, the fact that you're being able to manifest and they're not. This is a lot of jealousy, and this is a little bit of insecurity that's showing up here from that other person towards you. And I keep hearing the word irony. This is such an irony. It may be that this person has always been able to manifest even whenever you were having trouble before. And now all of a sudden that they're having trouble is just ironic that you're manifesting and they're not. All right, what's going on at the same time? Looks to me like you have been waiting for something for a while. You've been kind of on hold or in suspension on whatever this is, and you've just been waiting for the right time or the happy time. And I think you're realizing that, you know, this is not necessarily a good time, but I can't wait forever. At some point, I just have to take action, whether it's a good time or whether it's a bad time. I have to get in motion on this thing that I've been waiting on. Otherwise, I never get started. And so I think you're taking some kind of motion on something that you have been waiting on for a while. You've been waiting on the right time. Even though you're feeling like it's not the right time, I think you're changing your mind. You're realizing, you know, I could wait a long time for the right time. It's just time to do something. At the same time that this is going on, there's an interaction here with somebody who it looks to me like has addiction issues, and you guys could definitely have a pretty toxic relationship. I think you guys have sort of taken a break from each other for a while recently, and it looks to me like you're starting to interact with this person again during the same time frame where you're manifesting those things that you want really strongly and somebody's jealous of you. And where you're moving forward, you're not going to wait anymore for the right time. Where you're moving forward, you're also interacting with this person. I think this is somebody, like I said, I think they have addiction issues, and I think that you guys could be really toxic together, and I think you've taken some kind of break. Now, are they a romantic partner? They could be. They could also be a business partner or a friend. Okay? I know that, you know, when you watch YouTube videos all the time, there's a lot of videos that are focused just on love, and so it's real easy to go right to, oh, well, that's a love. Well, maybe, but we're talking about the future. So maybe this is a relationship you don't even know about just yet. Could be. And it doesn't have to be love, because I leave my readings open. I want to hear what Spirit has to say to us. What are the main themes that are going on? And sometimes the main themes in our life aren't about love. Maybe they're about other relationships, but they aren't necessarily about love. And so I don't want to focus the reading just on love. I don't want to focus the reading just on money either, because sometimes one or the other is more important, and other times, you know, the other one is on autopilot. So I just like to see, what does Spirit want to talk about with us? What are the themes that Spirit wants to talk to us about? What do we need to know? So in my readings, to assume that just because I'm seeing somebody that is partnered up, or somebody that is that you've been kind of on hold with and now you're communicating with again, to assume that that's love, it's not automatic. It's not a given on my channel, on my readings, because I leave my readings much more wide open than that. Okay, I mean, this could be that you have a parent that has addiction issues that you haven't been talking to a while, that now you're talking to. You know, it could be as simple as that too. Okay, so said that, let's look at where you guys are towards the end of the week. Once we see you at the end of the week, Geminis, it does look like you are working. I still don't see you being very happy at work, but I do see you working. Excuse me. Got a little piece of dust in my throat. So, anyway, sorry about that. I do see you working. I still don't see you as being very happy with what you're doing at work or satisfaction coming from that. As a matter of fact, I would say that you're very frustrated, and part of the reason that you're frustrated is because you're working with somebody who is not being very honest with you at all. But this work is helping you with your budget, get back into a good place with your budget. And so I think you're staying and putting up with it. All right, so I'm going to take a break. I'll leave you here, and then whenever I come back, we'll look at the next portion of September. See you soon. Hello there, Geminis. We are back. This is going to be for the time frame from September 9th through the 16th. Take a look at the major themes that are coming up for you during this time frame. Give you a little bit of an idea what's showing up in your life during that time. Gemini, Gemini, Gemini. All right, Geminis, let's start off like we usually do with your environment during this time frame. Environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. What I'm seeing here is that there's something that's come up about your environment that was not immediately apparent or was not apparent before. And so now you're starting to see some things about your environment that you didn't know, or I think maybe one thing about your environment that you didn't realize before. And whatever this is, I don't think you're happy about it. It's not like the most thrilling information. We're not looking at, you know, you accidentally moved a stone by the fireplace and now you've found $30,000 in gold coins. It's not something like that that has come up. It's something that has come to light that you didn't realize that isn't terrible, but it isn't the most happiness making thing either, okay? So when this information comes to light, I think that this actually gives you hope that there will be a decision that's made around the situation that works out in your favor. So it may be that you were wanting to do something different anyway, and whenever this little annoyance or problem comes up, then this is kind of the excuse or the extra motivator to justify making the change that you had wanted to start with. So I do think some information comes up, something that you're not really thrilled about with your environment, and that gives you hope that there's going to be a decision made around that situation that's actually going to work out in your favor. And I think even you're hoping that it'll be a decision that'll work towards something that you wanted before this new information came out anyway. I don't think that this decision is necessarily something that is made by you or by just you alone. This may be a decision that you have to talk with a partner about, or this may be a decision that like a landlord may have to make or something like that. So it feels like this is a decision that is not one that you're making. And like I said, I think you are feeling hopeful about a decision coming out in your favor, but I don't feel like that the decision is made during this particular time frame from the 9th to the 16th. I think the decision itself is coming later because we end here with you hoping for a positive decision that you're going to be really happy about. All right. Let's look next at your subconscious leanings. Subconscious leanings for Gemini, September 9th through the 16th. What are you guys thinking about? Geminis. I think you guys may be considering the idea of getting into some kind of commitment or contract with somebody that is not your traditional type of commitment or contract. So if this is a romantic interest that you're thinking about getting into a commitment or contract with, then this wouldn't be like a traditional type marriage commitment or contract. This would be some other version of a commitment or contract that works for you better than the traditional version of marriage. And I think the person that you're considering this non-traditional commitment or contract, and by the way, it doesn't have to be a romantic partner or a marriage or a non-traditional version of a commitment that would be sort of similar to a marriage. This could be a business contract or commitment that would be non-traditional, so it would be set up in a way that is not what we would normally think of as a typical business type of contract or commitment. And I think that this contract or commitment does have to do with a particular person and yourself. And this is somebody who is has more assertive energy, basically. They're kind of a go-getter. This is somebody who really likes to think things through. They like to make sure that everything is fine as far as the bottom line goes before they move forward with anything. Even things that a lot of us would consider emotional decisions, this person makes them very much based on facts and logic. And so this is the person that I think, and this is also somebody who maybe doesn't have as much experience as other people might have in whatever area this is that you're thinking of a contract or commitment. Okay? So subconscious, what's on your mind is this non-traditional version of contract or commitment that you're considering actually entering into with somebody who is very much a logical personality and not a whole lot of experience in whatever this is that you're thinking of committing to them in. Okay, so that's your subconscious leanings. Subconscious for Gemini. Now we're looking at two things, learning style and communication style. So what do we have? You're definitely learning about those things that you're interested in. You're sort of being drawn to learn about those things that you're interested in. It looks like there is some learning that is coming along via verbal communication. And there is some learning that's coming along via meditation or communication with spirit in whatever form that takes for you particularly. La, da, 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 da. Excuse me. And I think you're using a lot of this information towards making some kind of big decision for yourself here. La, da, 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 da. Next thing we're looking at is communication style. So I'm seeing that you are communicating with great energy, great passion and enthusiasm, but your communication may not be the clearest thing around. It looks to me like you may be sending out smoke signals, so you could be hinting around things. It's kind of interesting. I've never really thought about somebody hinting or making innuendos with enthusiasm and excitement and passion, but that's what you're doing. That's really interesting. And I think you are communicating about, I think you're talking about this decision that you know you need to make. And part of the thing that you're talking about are the benefits of deciding one way or the other, how that will help you in the tangible material good. But I think you're also talking about what happens if you don't commit to this. Like, so you're really looking at pros and cons, and I think you're talking to somebody. I think really with this, you're talking to a friend very directly about the pros and cons, maybe more than one friend probably. But I think when it comes to whoever is waiting for you to answer on this decision, I think you may be very vague. Very vague. I think you're buying time until you actually can make that decision. All right. Wonder if that has to do with the decision around the home. Decisions seem to be a theme already, at least. Okay, next thing we're looking at talks to me about work. What's going on at work? Okay, there's something going on that is out of your control that is causing you to not be able to do everything that you would normally do. So you could be on desk duty if maybe you normally have a much more active job. Or it could be that you actually have time off from work. I don't think that you're taking a break from work because you just decided to. There's something going on that's outside your sphere of control that is putting you in this position where you're actually just taking a break from work. Okay? Obviously, this is not very good for your budget. And I don't think that you're working on something coming up on the side either. I think that you're taking like a complete downtime here. Downtime from work where somebody else pays you and you're an employee or your regular business, and also downtime from whatever it is that you're doing on the side, whatever your side gig is. Not so sure I like that for you guys. Let's look at inner work. Inner work really has to do with your attitude right now. It's easy to see with something like this that this could impact your attitude in a really negative way. It does for a lot of people when they can't work and they want to. And I think the inner work here is to remain positive in circumstances around you. That's what you're really focusing on as far as inner work. Okay. Let's see where your personality is being grown during this point. Oh, we've got no work showing up again as a confirmation. Things are going really slow. But we've got a card that shows that this is loosening up, that somehow during this time frame your budget is actually being loosened up. Isn't that interesting? You're not working. You're not doing your side hustle. Things are slow in your life. But financially, this doesn't seem to be impacting you in a bad way. In fact, things seem to be loosening up for you instead of tightening up for you. I don't know how to explain that or give an example of that. I know that if you had been on unemployment before July, I could see how that would happen. So unless something's coming up in the next stimulus package that pays people more when they're not working than when they are. I don't know how that works out. And I'm recording this on August the 6th. So far, no second stimulus package going. But something's going on here, because even though you're not working, and that's confirmed, this is the second time you not working has shown up, things are really slow for you. Communication even around you is really slow. Your budget's being eased. How does that happen? If we don't have a really good stimulus package showing up, I don't know how else that could be. I don't know. Or maybe you've got rich parents that are bailing you out, maybe. I don't know. All right. Let's move on. Let's look next at those things that you stand for. What's happening here? You guys are really puzzling me. What's happening here? Once again, we've got confirmation coming up. You're not working. This is like the third card that says, you're not collaborating with anybody. You're not working for somebody. This feels bad to you. It feels like defeat to you to not be able to work. But at the same time, you're still manifesting good things. Now, how has that happened when I plainly saw that you aren't working and that you're not doing your side gig? Did your inner work pay off? Did you improve it and now you're doing your side gig? What's happening here? You're still manifesting good things. Still manifesting wonderful things, even though you're not actually working. And somebody's saying something to you about it, and you are defending yourself here. Huh. What's up with you, Geminis? All right, so, how are other people perceiving you? Okay. They're seeing you as somebody who has a problem that you don't know the solution to right now. Like, even they're used to you being very creative and thinking outside the box and finding solutions that way. You still seem to be stumped anyway, but at the same time, you're overcoming something that could otherwise be considered devastating. You're coming out of that smelling like a rose. You're coming out of that smelling like a rose, and you're being smart about defending that good position. So if you're coming out of this smelling like a rose, so if you haven't been able to work for whatever reason, whether it's coronavirus or whether you broke your toe or who knows, then you're coming out of this wonderfully, actually better off than you were before when you were working. But you still have a problem. You have a problem in that you don't feel good about not working. But it doesn't matter, because you're still coming out more than fine. And you're thinking this through. Like, you're figuring out, okay, well, I don't know how long I'm going to be more than fine here. So I think you're making a budget. I think you're making sure that you don't overspend. I think you're saving back everything that you can save back, because you don't know what's coming next. And I think this other person realizes that. They see you doing that and they realize that. Okay, what crazy times we live in, eh? What crazy times we live in. All right. Let's look next at the flex point during this time frame. This is where things start to flip around and look a little bit different. Be a little bit different. Ooh, look at that. That's so odd. Okay, so you do have a new contract coming in here. Now, this could have been the non-traditional contract we saw earlier that you were considering, but you have a new contract coming in here. I think that you were afraid of taking this contract before. This non-traditional contract or commitment, I think you were afraid of making that. Now I don't see you as being afraid of making that, But what's interesting is, as you enter into that contract or that commitment, your budget's tightening up again. That belt's tightening up again. Are you taking on somebody as a partner who you're carrying the financial load there? Or a big share of it? Or are you starting a job and now you don't have extra unemployment benefits that you had before? Not sure exactly what's happening there, but you're coming into a contract or agreement with somebody and you were afraid to do it, but you've defeated that fear, and so you're coming into it, but now your budget is tightening up again. What? Everything is happening just backwards here. If you have an employer or you have some kind of contract, even if you're self-employed, you have a new contract, you're supposed to have your budget getting better, not worse. And same thing, when you're not working, your budget's supposed to tighten up, not get looser. You guys, this stuff is going the opposite direction for you. I'm not sure why. Not sure why, unless there's a stimulus package in the picture that I don't know about yet. Otherwise, I just can't explain that. All right, let's look next at what else is happening as you go into this new contract and your budget tightens up. You do have a choice. You have choices in front of you. You have people giving you offers, basically. You have people giving you different offers of opportunities for you to make money, whether that's regular employment or whether that's gigs. You've got offers coming in, but I don't think you're taking up those offers. Whatever this contract is that you've gotten into, I think you are making sure you've got enough time to fulfill and honor that contract with integrity. And so you're passing on some of these other offers that are coming in at the same time. What else is happening? Oh my gosh. Remember last week you weren't feeling very satisfied or inspired with work? You are now. You are now. There's something going on with somebody who's probably a water sign, either sun sign or ascendant, probably a female, although that's not written in stone in a general reading. Where you're really finding a lot of satisfaction. I get the sense that this has to do with work, but you know, if I'm looking at the cards, technically I can't say that. I'm going to say psychically, I think it has to do with work or with finances of some way. I think there's somebody, I think your water sign person is somebody that I think you actually help them, and I think that's why you're feeling satisfied and inspired about, satisfied and happy about this situation, is because you're able to actually help this person. I think she's feeling very unmotivated and like there are just some things that just aren't worth doing or aren't worth trying. And so I think that you're helping her to see value in moving forward, and I think that's bringing a lot of satisfaction and happiness to you, Geminis. So let's see where you are at the end of this time frame. Okay. I gotta say, I think that you were out of work because of something physical that happened to you. Because where we see you at the end of this week is that things are still moving very slowly, so you're probably still not doing a whole lot as far as work goes. But you definitely are healing and you are gaining strength. And I think that you're healing and gaining strength really quickly, because the healer and the strength card right next to each other. That tells me that this healing is coming in fast. So I think that's a good place to leave that time frame. That seemed like a challenging one, but at least it ends off in a good place. And then I'm going to take a break and I'll come back and we'll look at the next part of September. See you soon. Hello again, Gemini. Welcome back. We are looking at September 17th through the 23rd. See what kind of main themes you have going on during that time frame. See if they make a little more sense to me this time than the last one did. We shall find out. All right, let's put some cards down. If you guys want to scroll through whenever I'm putting cards down and whenever I'm shuffling, that's totally fine. Doesn't hurt my feelings a bit. I know some people like to actually witness the cards going down. I get that. That's why I leave that part of in these videos. But if you're not one of those people, feel free to just scroll ahead. It's all good with me. La da da da, la da da da, la da da da, da da. Okay, Gemini, here we go. What's up with you this time? First, we're looking at your environment. Ooh, look at that. You guys are getting out of a lease, a contract, a mortgage, something. You are moving away from a commitment with your environment, and it looks to me like you're very happy about it. So whatever reason you're moving away from a commitment or a contract in your environment, it's a good reason. It's making you happy, happy, happy. Whoop, whoop. I like it. I like it. You guys must have made that decision, huh? Must have made that decision we saw coming up last time around. Okay, subconscious leanings this time. What's up? Okay, so we're seeing some kind of partnership here with a person. Could be romantic, could be business, could be a friend, etc., etc., etc. But some kind of partnership showing up here, and this is a person who is makes a little bit more mature decisions. There's somebody who likes to look at things very much logically. I mean, a partnership could be even hiring a lawyer or an accountant. But like I said, could be a friendship, could be a love interest. Anyway, this is somebody who is normally very logic. They're very intelligent. They enjoy good conversation, maybe even a good debate now and then. And so in your subconscious, you're thinking about this partnership with this person, and there's a lot of confusion for you around this partnership. And you're really trying to sort out that confusion. That's what's going on in your subconscious. Subconscious, I should say. Okay, let's look next at learning style and also communication style. So, learning style. You are learning a lot of things right now, and I think that you're building on information that you already have. You're just adding to information that's already there and building on to it. There are some things that you're finding out that are not necessarily need to know type information, but just fun and interesting, maybe having to do with hobbies or some kind of recreational activity. I think you're really enjoying learning about that stuff. And there is something here about learning from friends. There's communication going back and forth with friends whenever we're looking at your learning style. So that's nice. Whoop, whoop. Okay, now let's look at your communication style. I do think that you are very tactful as you communicate. You're very careful about how you're presenting your ideas and your thoughts to other people around you during this time frame. At the same time that you're very careful about how you present what you are in your communication, I think that your communication is rock solid. It's not changing. Your opinion isn't changing. Your communication about what's supposed to be happening isn't changing. People know what to expect from you based on your communication. La da da da. Very well grounded. Very well grounded. Yep, I think we've pretty much covered everything on that. Now let's look next at work for Geminis. Work, work, work. Definitely new beginnings, something nice and solid and stable. This could be a new beginning where you're going back to work, but I think based on what we saw last time around, this is probably a whole new job or position. Anyway, nice and stable is showing up here. I do think that there is a little bit of a time delay between the last paycheck and the paycheck that's coming in from this. And so I kind of feel like there's a little bit of feeling kind of broke as you wait for that first paycheck to come into effect. There's the air conditioning kicking in. I know it's loud. My apologies for the extra noise. La da da da. And I think you're feeling really restless about this idea of having more money. I think that there are definitely some things on your mind that you do with this money, and you just wish it would hurry up and show up. It's not like it's late or like it's being held back. I just feel like just the natural pay cycle, because there was a break in work, has you where you're waiting for pay. Okay. Next, let's look at that part of your personality, which is being grown or expanded right now. La, da, 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 da. There is still some healing going on here, definitely. But you're feeling a lot better about your position in the world in general right now. And you are, you're really enjoying some creative things right now. You may be doing things a little bit on the cheap, but that doesn't mean that you're not enjoying them. Okay? I don't think that you are fully healed up from whatever that was that knocked you down a little bit the last time that we were looking at your time frame, but you're definitely still in progress, and it looks to me like this is it's a process. It's a process. It's not going to be something that happens super quick. This is like, for me, this is like a bone break or something like that. Like you guys are wearing a cast and have to go back and see, okay, is it healing right? You know, that type of thing. All right. Next thing we're going to look at are those things that you stand for right now, Geminis. There is some kind of collaboration that you had with somebody, and I think you have put that collaboration to an end. And the reason you did was because it was making you feel less secure instead of more secure, or less happy instead of more happy. It just really was, it was something that made you feel like you were losing to collaborate with this other person on whatever this was. It made you feel like you were losing out. So you put an end to that collaboration. I don't feel like it was necessarily an unfair collaboration. These cards don't indicate anything about it being where you're putting in all the effort and the other person isn't putting in any. It just looks to me like whatever this was that you were doing with this other person or with this other group just wasn't paying off like everybody thought it would, or like you thought it would. Alrighty. Let's look at how other people view you. They see you as somebody who has a lot of good wisdom about how to move forward with different ideas to improve things in the world. And they see you as being very focused, and being very focused on getting out of something. I'm assuming that it's the collaboration that we were just talking about. They're seeing you as you know, you've got a lot of good ideas. You've got a lot of good options as to things that you could do to improve your situation. And this one that seems like it's taking you backwards instead of forwards, it's not one of the good options. So they can see you're pretty dedicated to the idea of getting away from something that's not really helping you move forward. All right. La, da, da. I don't get the sense that it's really helping anybody move forward, to tell you the truth. I don't think that anybody's scamming anybody. I just think it's not working out. All right, let's look next at the flex point or the pivot point during this time frame where things start to change. Change, change, change. What's going on here? Once again, you have cards that don't necessarily fit. just like last time. So I'm just feeling around through this, wandering my way through these cards to figure out what's really going on here. Why is this combination even here? Okay, Gemini, there is definitely something going on in personal relationships here, and I think that you're coming up with some kind of strategy, because it seems to me like somebody has put you through something, and they're not coming off to you as if they recognize the idea that they've done anything wrong or that they've even put you through anything. And so I think you're strategizing. You have this wonderful idea that you're going to really throw a fit, basically, and you're going to tell this person exactly all about it. And then they're going to be so sorry. That's your plan. I'm not saying that's how it's working out. I'm saying that's your plan. At the same time that you have this plan, there's something going on with somebody else too, and this is a very personal type thing as well. This is going to be something going on with somebody in the family or somebody in the tribe. For me, tribe is somebody who's a family member, but they're not blood. Very close friends, say, maybe. And it looks like the two of you are having a conversation, you and this other person in the family or in the tribe, are having a conversation that allows for some emotional healing. So where you guys may not have been seeing eye to eye before, or maybe you even had a big blowout before, now you're getting on the same page so that you can heal and move forward here. What else is happening at the same time that you've got this great strategy? You're getting out of a contract or a commitment. You are getting out of a contract or commitment. And this contract or commitment, somebody has been treating you not very well. I'm going to say, I know we've got two things going on here, but I think this third grouping of cards that I'm looking at here tells me that this situation where you're throwing this fit so somebody will really be sorry for something that they did to you that they really shouldn't have, I think this other grouping of cards is talking about that situation, because it's an unreciprocal situation, and you're getting out of it. You're done with it. So not only are you throwing this fit and making this person feel bad, you're telling them, you know what, no, I'm not participating in this agreement or this commitment anymore. I'm done. I'm out. Ciao. All right. So where do we see you at the end of this time frame? There's a lot of communication going on. There's a lot of communication going on here. And where you might have been feeling left out before, now you're not feeling left out anymore. So there's definitely some healing of a situation coming up, and there are massive changes in that situation too. So it looks like you guys being able to talk has actually brought the willingness and the ability for both of you to make some changes so that moving forward this thing will be better. Now I think that what we're looking at here is not this thing where you get out of the contract or commitment that was not reciprocal, somebody treated you wrong. I think that this has to do with the tribe member, that you guys were able to be vulnerable with each other and talk things over and bring in some healing. I think that now you guys are moving forward with whatever your relationship is in a much easier way. There's a lot of communication happening now. You're not feeling like you've been left out or neglected by this person. Things are just looking really good in that relationship moving forward. So nice. another really nice way to end a time frame. So I'm going to wrap this up, take a little break, come back, and we will look at the last segment of September for you, Geminis. See you soon. Welcome back, Geminis. Here we go. We're on the last time segment for September. We're looking at the 24th through the 30th this time. Oh, you guys have a little bit of energy happening, a little bit of excitement. I had a card that started to jump out and didn't quite make it. You guys are going to have a little bit on your mind during this time. That's what that tells me. Looked like you guys had some stuff on your mind before, so this should be pretty interesting. Okay, let's take a peek. Okie dokie smoky. Okie dokie smoky. Alright. Let's look first at you guys' environment. What do we have here? Oh, very creative. With your environment, you may be doing some painting. Maybe doing some painting. It looks like there's some kind of illusions about your environment. I almost want to think that it has something to do with how your environment is decorated, that there's some kind of illusions around your environment, is what I have coming up here. That's what it feels like to me. I mean, this card could also be where somebody isn't quite being honest with you, but that's just not, I can't say that's really the strongest that I'm getting. That might be true for some of you or a few of you. But I think there's something going on with your environment that, you know, I don't know, maybe you have a picture on the wall that's like one of those that if you look at it for a long time, it looks 3D. I don't know. But there's some kind of illusionary thing coming up about your environment. And I do think that you're doing things, you're decorating, you're being very creative with getting your environment to be the way that you want it to be. Excuse me. Next thing I'm looking at here is subconscious leanings, Gemini. So there is some kind of confusion or indecision around the idea of either a new romance or a new friendship or something new that you're interested in doing, like a hobby or a project. Some type of recreational activity maybe, but there's something showing up here that you're really enjoying, that you're really liking, but at the same time, if this is something to do with a person, then you don't see them really putting energy or effort, like you don't see them reciprocating energy or effort into this situation. If this is a hobby or an activity or a project, you may be thinking it is just too freaking expensive. It's going to take too much money to do this. And so there's some confusion around this because the temptation to move forward is really there, but the logic is kind of saying, maybe not the best idea. So having a little bit of a hard time with getting your heart and your mind to align on this one. And so your subconscious is really working on it, Geminis. La, da, da, da. Next thing we're looking at talks to me about learning style and also communication style. So for learning style, there's a lot that you're finding out about that is just being told to you straight up. I don't think you're even asking questions. I think somebody is just telling you things. And I think some of the things that they're telling you might be things that you would not have even thought to ask about, but are actually pretty important. And it looks to me like you're really interested in learning how to do something quicker, how to make something multiply quicker, or how to expand more quickly. And that looks like something that you're really looking at some good solid information about as well. You may even be taking some kind of class or course or working with somebody who just has a plethora of knowledge in that area for you. Now, as far as communication style, communication seems to be going really well in certain situations this time frame, but in others it seems like there's just some wires getting crossed. Messages aren't getting across the way that they should to somebody. You guys, you may have some kind of electronic failure. There may be some kind of problem with the phone and the text messages, or maybe not able to, or Skype or WhatsApp. There's some kind of, I feel like there's some kind of technology failure that you're having to deal with when it comes to communication during this week. I do think that there's lots of communication going back and forth in writing. So this could be emails, this could be text, this could be old snail mail too. But I do see some communication in writing. You may also actually be journaling as well during this time frame, Geminis. Wouldn't surprise me at all from what I'm seeing on those cards and just knowing your personality. La da 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 da. The next thing we're looking at has to do with work. What is going on with work, you guys? Sadness. Sadness is coming up with work. You're not liking work anymore. You just liked work last time around. You're not liking work anymore. And in fact, somebody that you had partnered up with whenever it comes to work, you're no longer able to see eye to eye with them. So last time I thought we saw, didn't we see you guys go into some kind of contract or commitment with somebody having to do with work? And now we're seeing you just, you're not on the same page. You guys are, you guys are not doing well together as a team. That's for sure. I'm not sure you're even at this point. You may no longer work for this person. Or if you hired them, maybe they're no longer working for you. But work is definitely, this looks like a heartbreak to me. This looks like a heartbreaking situation when we're looking at work. Now let's look at inner work. Inner work has to do with you finding something that makes you happy to be able to do for a living. And I think you're feeling really frustrated right now because you thought you had found it. So close, so close, so close. And just not quite there. And so inner work is about going back to the drawing board basically and finding something happiness making that you can do for work. A new contract with somebody that you can see eye to eye with, something. All right. Let's look next at that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. Ooh, baby, baby. You guys are totally expanding your intuition. Didn't we see this for you in August too? Geminis, I would think that was you. You guys are definitely working on your intuition big time. Big time. Yeah. I mean, I've basically got 3 cards that are saying the same thing here. You're growing or expanding in your intuitive abilities. Whew. Look at that. That was cut and dry. That was cut and dry. I didn't have to question or feel around for that one. All right. Looking at things that you stand for. We still have this healing issue coming up once again. Coming up that the healing is really slow. And I think what's going on is you're starting to accept that, okay, this is a process and this is what it is. I think before you were really trying to push forward and rush that healing, Gemini. I think you're at a point now where you're coming to peace with the process and you're realizing, okay, you know, this may feel like a really old thing by the time it's healed. It might feel really old. And that's okay. It is what it is. I think that's where you are right now. You're kind of at, well, it is what it is. I can only do the best I can do here. And that's what you're standing up for. Now, how do other people see you? This is interesting. Other people see you, number one, as being somebody who's a really good friend. And somebody who is, it's easy for you to let bygones be bygones and let them be a part of the past. But they also feel like that's almost a fault with you, that you let people off the hook way too easily, and that leaves you open to getting hurt. Isn't that interesting? That makes me want to go back and re-look at this what you're standing for thing. Now, besides the healing process, I think we've got a double meaning on this, what you're standing for. Besides the healing process and kind of coming to terms with it is what it is and it'll take as long as it'll take, I do think you also have something coming up with somebody coming back from the past, and they are, it's interesting what we have here. They want to have peace with you, but they're not willing to do anything that would actually heal that situation up. So in other words, I think they want to have peace with you. Maybe they even want to apologize, but they don't want to talk about anything or discuss anything or say, hey, this is where things went wrong, or I really, nothing. Nothing. They just want to say, I'm sorry, and they want you to drop it. They don't want to discuss it. And so they're not really bringing any kind of healing to the situation, even though they've brought an apology. That's like putting a Band-Aid on a shark bite. That's the equivalent of what they're doing. They're basically putting a Band-Aid on a shark bite and expecting everything to be cool. And so that's why this other person is seeing you as somebody who lets other people off the hook, like you're a really good friend, but you let people off the hook too easily, and it leaves you open for, well, I think this is a really strong word, but it's the one Spirit keeps giving me, but it leaves you open for destruction. They feel like it leaves you open for destruction because you forgive so easily and let people off the hook. Geminis, I didn't know you guys were like that. But then we do have that whole psychic thing going on. If you're empathic, then that's not so much of a surprise. Okay. Let's move on, shall we? Let's look at the flex point here. Where do things start to change direction? It looks to me like there's been a situation where you've kind of taken some downtime, and I think that this is, maybe you've even gone on a trip or gone away from home. I think you're coming back to this situation. I think you're coming back to this situation, but I think that as you come back to it, I don't see you as being particularly happy about coming back to this situation after downtime or after a break. It looks to me like, yeah, you've had some downtime, you've had a break, you've had a chance to think things over, and I think that in your mind you thought that whoever it is that you took some time away from, I think you thought that that would make them have some time to think too, and that they might have some ideas of things that you guys could change moving forward so things would get better. I don't see that here. I see you coming back and you're still unhappy. What's going on at the same time that you're coming back and you're really not that happy that you did, coming back from a break? I think what's going on is you're finding something out through digging for information. Maybe you even, I think this is finding something out through social media that you weren't expecting to see. And I think for you, I don't want to say that that's your reason for calling this thing done, as if it was just about this one thing. But I think that when you came back, you weren't really happy because nothing had really changed. And then when this comes up on social media that, you know, this person is talking to somebody else or whatever else is going on here, then I think it's almost like the cherry on top of the cake, as in this is the final straw. And I think that there is absolute relief and joy as you walk away from this situation with this final nail that's in the coffin here. What else is going on at the same time that you're coming back from a break and you're not very happy about it? And when I say the same time, we're talking pretty close to the same time. Doesn't have to be the same moments. Yeah, I think you guys are getting into it big time. And I think that you are no longer talking to this person. I think you're, first of all, I think you're getting into it over the idea that this person still kept secrets from you. And I think that you're not going to be talking to this person anymore, and you're going to have your own secrets. You're just, I think, you know, you're done with this. You're done with this. You may not be doing an official walk away, but as far as you're concerned emotionally, this is a done deal, and you're not going to be sharing information about yourself with this other person. You may still be in a situation where you're still having to be in the same household with them. You're not able to get out just yet, and that may be why you go into secret mode. But emotionally, this thing is done and over as far as you're concerned. Now, where do we see you at the end of this time frame, Gemini? We see you working. And we see that work for you is actually distracting you from all this stuff that we have going on in your personal life. It's giving you something to focus on that feels good. That feels a lot better. Okay? And what's this other thing that's going on? Yeah, you're definitely using work to get away from the situation. And the situation is basically that this other person is a runaround Joe. Whether it's J-O-E or whether it's J-O, this person that you are back from a break and back with them, they're a runaround Joe. So this is why. This is what the big fight was about. This is why you're done. And so you're going to work because then you don't have to be around them. You don't have to think about them. You can think about something else that's more productive until you can get a plan together to live in separate places. Well, that was certainly a dramatic ending to your month, Geminis. I don't think we were dramatic that much anywhere else earlier. So let me go ahead and wrap this up. I do appreciate you guys being here, spending your valuable time with me. That is an honor that you trust me to hear these types of predictions and spend that kind of time to hear them. Thank you for sharing this video with others it may be helpful to. Thank you also for putting thumbs ups on these videos that I make as a show of support. That also changes the logarithm so that the videos get served to more people that way. So I appreciate that as well. And of course, thank you to those of you who are ordering private readings from me and ordering Reiki sessions from me. It is because of all of your support at every single level that I'm able to do what I love to do for my living. So thank you very much. Everybody have a fantastic month. And if I don't see you for a private reading between now and then I'll see you back on the next video. Peace out.